Hello and welcome to Rodina. This is the demo. It's currently about 11 quid on Steam at the moment, which I think is a little bit steep for what it is. But I'm going to get into it and sort of show you what it's all about. So here we are actually in the game. I've played about half an hour of this. I tried recording it a minute ago and things broke. So this is the second time I've been recording this, not that you really needed to know that, but so let me just kind of show you what the game's about. So we are currently controlling the ship, and this is, I believe, an asteroid. So let's go find a nice place to land. This nice flat area here. If you've played Kerbal Space Program, then you will know not to land in mountains. If you haven't played Kerbal Space Program, then go play Kerbal Space Program, because it's fantastic. And program seems to be a word that I can't say very well. I seem to get sort of a bit caught up over myself with that word. Oh, that was okay. So yeah, your ship's larger than you think it is. It's always closer to land than you think it is, but it can take a decent amount of a battering. So before I go out of the ship, let me just go into the ship. So as you can see, I am now actually in a first-person view inside the ship. There's all sorts of stuff. Don't really know what any of that is. Same goes for that. Now this is the business end of the aircraft, and here's the bridge. So if I want to take control of the ship, I could press F on this and take control of the ship. Here's the scanners. This shows all of this. You've got lots of stuff. That there in the middle is the sun. And there are some planets around them. There's planets all around them, and there's the asteroid belt. We are currently on one of the asteroids, I believe. I think. And there are various upgrades, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. And then there's data, which is something that we can't get. Maybe that's because we're on freeform, as opposed to the story mode. I'm not sure what this is. Not entirely sure. Storage closet, shelves. No functionality at the moment, as far as I can tell. Possibly in the future. This is early access. Toilet, pressurized tank, sink. This kind of implies there's going to be sort of like a Sims element to it, where you have to kind of maintain all your needs and stuff. This is a game that screams co-op at me. Everywhere I turn, every time I play this, I think this would be great in co-op. It's a nice experience in single player, but the problem is it's too much for. It gets to the point where it's too much for a man to handle. If you're in combat, you don't stand a fucking chance. So there we go. I'm now outside of the ship, and because we're on an asteroid, I can jump really high and get on top of my ship and look at all the lovely lighting. Yeah, this game kind of needs a bit more. Needs graphical polish. I think the sky looks very flat, and the asteroids and the planets are incredibly dull. But the idea of just flying around and kind of going to various places is gorgeous. I mean, this game, if this came out last year, if we went back a year in time and dumped this on Steam now, and kind of the development process was the same as what it's going to be, I would be very excited by this. Problem is, now we have a lot of games coming out that are doing what this is doing, but probably going to do it better, such as Elite Dangerous, and of course No Man's Sky, which I'm really looking forward to. Oh my god. This is something I found out actually really recently when I was recording this last time. You can modify the ship layout from here, so like all of this, I mean, this is something you can't do in No Man's Sky, so this is kind of the unique thing that This is what gives this game so much exciting potential and stuff, is the fact that you can go in and move all of this around. So I can say, you know what, this thing here, I want that. Well, not there, because, you know, that's in front of the door, but I want to move that. I don't need two of these. Can I just get rid of it? Just get rid of it. There we go. I don't want that. I'll get rid of it. That one, and we'll move that there. So now, when I go into my bridge, there's a nice big wow there, right there. At the moment, I don't think you can actually change the layout properly. As far as I can tell, you can change what rooms, like the different sort of textures of rooms and stuff. Like, I'd like to get rid of this and have like a really big bridge, but I'm not sure you can do that. Oh, tell a lie. You can indeed. So I can just have a massive hole. You'd think it would delete stuff actually there. Can I get rid of... Okay, so entities, delete. Well, let's get rid of this. This is all like pointless stuff, but you know, nothing is pointless. Nothing is pointless, and everything is permitted. That's what the assassins say. Oh wait, no, I'm doing this a silly way. Tile sets, bridge. So I can then just kind of, Oh, okay, I think I fucked this. I think I may have muck fucked it. Open. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm learning on the job. That's how I do most of my jobs. Ah, okay. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. There we go. That's what we want. There we go. And put a wall there. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So now I've got a nice big open bridge and tile sets, bridge, boop, boop, boop. Yeah, it's really. I mean, this is great. I love this. Entities, move. Let's pull that. Let's pull that back there. I like just so the bridge is nice and open. I think that's quite nice. Open plan living. Except I'm not living. It's a bridge. I want that in the middle, but obviously that's not. I want the door in the middle, but that's obviously not going to work. That's obviously not going to work. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, I mean, obviously you get the idea. You could, I could spend hours fiddling with all of this crap. It's kind of like my sort of type of thing that I have wet dreams over. So I kind of actually, no, I'm going to move that a little bit closer. So we got sort of looking over the flight computers and shizazzle. That's all the exciting stuff, and then the big Dr. Evil chair. Yeah, so I mean, you get the idea. You get the idea. Okay, we're done here. And you can remotely operate the ship from here, so I can pilot it from this point. But why do that when you can actually go to the bridge and pilot it from the bridge like a sensible human being would? Yeah, that should be here. That annoys me, but you know. Ah, look at this. So much more open plan. It's lovely. Okay, so wish list. I want this to be first person. I want to be able to fly in first person. Okay, so we have some options. We could bugger off into the galaxy where there's nothing, or we could go to one of those 4 planets, or we could try and land on a different asteroid. We're going to go to a different planet, I think. If you hold right click, it presses the clutch down, and then you press W and it goes to a faster movement speed. So you got this, which is combat speed, this, which is cruising speed. This is quite quick, actually, when you're going over land. And then you got this, which is phenomenally quick. This distance here is kind of hard to actually... It's actually quite hard to sort of work to actually see how large this distance that we're covering is. It's large, okay? This distance is large. So we are going phenomenally quickly at the moment. In fact, I'm going to slow down a little bit just to kind of get my bearings. Yeah, so we're going very quickly at that point. It's very hard to actually control the bloody thing. So if I get out this, we can see there's a planet there, there's a planet there, planet there. I think we are about here, as far as I can tell. Well, actually, probably not, actually. No, we wouldn't be, would we? I think we're about here. Yeah. It's really hard to actually make out where exactly we are. No, actually, no. I'm talking bollocks. We must be up here. We must be sort of... I was going to say north, but that doesn't really work in space. We must be kind of above this in a kind of... in the orientation that map was. Yeah, like we've... Oh, okay, well, we've actually passed that one. Okay, so actually, in fact... Oh, shit. We are, in fact, in here, in that case, if we've passed that. Okay, well... I think that's the only planet I haven't actually been to, so, I mean... The ship controls are a little bit clunky and a bit bleh, but, you know, I mean, that's all stuff that's going to change. I mean, this is early access. As far as I can tell, this is a very early access game. Right, let's kind of try and throw ourselves straight towards that. Well, not straight towards it. Let's try and fly kind of past it a bit. I don't want to throw myself into a fucking planet. I've done that before. It's not fun. Okay, so now immediately you see we got all these red things. They are best avoided. The combat in this, it ain't fun. I haven't really got involved in the combat, but I've got slightly involved in the combat. It's just too much to handle for one person. It's the type of thing where you think, you know, co-op, this combat would be fun. Co-op, this would be a lot of fun because because you'd have people running around putting out fires, and you'd have one person piloting the ship and stuff. Kind of like Guns of Icarus. This would be great as a kind of Guns of Icarus thing if it was as good as Guns of Icarus. Problem is, I don't think it is as good. It won't be as good as Guns of Icarus. I mean, this game's kind of. I just like the fact that I'm just kind of flying around space, and it's great. It's absolutely great. But the actual game itself, it's dodgy. It's dodgy. I mean, there's stuff that still needs to be done for this, definitely. The stuff that really needs to be improved, and I have faith that this will become a very good game in time. And the only problem I have with it is that I just don't think it's going to be able to compete with No Man's Sky. I just don't. I think No Man's Sky is just so gorgeous. I mean, I think that's really the best thing that No Man's Sky has going for it. It's just how absolutely phenomenally pretty that game is, and not just graphically, just the art style, everything about it's just so pretty, and that's important that's important for an exploration game, is just how it looks, because you want to explore a beautiful landscape, and that's kind of what No Man's Sky seems to offer. I should have landed actually somewhere. No, fuck it. No, we're aborting because I want to land on the sunny side of this planet. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Are there fires? Yeah, this game has fires when you go into. Your ship catches fire very easily. Very easily. You get shot, your ship catches fire. You go too quickly in the atmosphere, your ship catches fire. Yeah, this ship doesn't have sort of kind of 20th century heat insulation that like the space shuttle has. Even though this ship is supposedly fantastic. Yeah, it's kind of a bizarre thing about this game, but you know, it's all part of the gameplay, and you can't gameplay over realism. Generally. There are, of course, exceptions if you're trying to make a simulator or something, in which case gameplay is actually not an important thing at all, because you're not trying to make a game, you're trying to make a simulator. That was like a good place. I don't know what these crosses are, and I want to explore them. That is something that we don't want to go towards, that red thing. So is there another cross nearby? No, there isn't. Okay, right. Oh god, I've lost my bearings. I think it was over here. There it is. Yeah. Okay, plan of action. We're gonna just sort of dive bomb the planet a bit. The planet is actually a lot. Okay, we're getting too close to that thing now. We'll just kind of dive. Yeah, we'll dive bomb it. Okay, we're gonna go under the atmosphere and. Oh shit! Steep entry. I know it's steep entry. That's kind of. Oh fuck. Okay, yeah, you don't want the fire. The fire's bad. All right. Fire is bad generally. That's advice for life. There you go. That's some life advice that that I've given you there. So, fire is bad. If something's on fire, it's generally suboptimal. I think that's fair enough. The music in this game is really good as well. Actually, you can buy the soundtrack. The soundtrack's £4. It's on the Steam page. Kind of. I remember. I like it when games give you the soundtrack. I think that's really cool. I mean, not many games do that anymore, though. That's kind of the problem. I mean, like Far Cry 3 did if you bought the deluxe edition. Problem was, deluxe edition was quite a bit more expensive. So it's like, well, no, I do not want to make the entry diff more easy. Basically, that's saying you're crap at this. Lower the difficulty. But I'm not crap at this, and I won't lower the difficulty. There we go, and boom. Okay, we're under the atmosphere. That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But just ignore it. It's cool. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry about little things such as the fact that the atmosphere sits above the planet instead of actually around the planet. Instead of actually engulfing the planet, it's just kind of like, yeah, the atmosphere doesn't actually encompass the entire planet. Just ignore that. Okay, one problem is you can't, like, put your ship on sort of autopilot and say, don't crash into a mountain. That's not a thing that you can make your ship do, sadly. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the problem this game has at the moment, is that the planets are just kind of just kind of randomly generated spheres of kind of nothingness. Yeah, there needs to be some sort of intervention. Oh shit! I think that ship might want to murder me. Yeah, fighting those things are incredibly difficult to fight. I've got into one fight with them. I got absolutely fucked. But I was above the atmosphere, so I could just kind of warp away and sort the fires and shit out myself in my own time. I think it might be alright there. Oh shit. Yeah, so we're gonna. I don't know what this cross is. Let's go find out. But yeah, I think this game needs a bit of sort of intervention by the developer instead of just kind of leaving it all to random generation. Because random generation, in principle, is really cool. I love the idea of random generation. It's just brilliant that you can just make vast terrains without really having to spend ridiculous amounts of time developing that. I really like that. I think that's kind of, it's something that more developers should do, as long as they then go over that randomly generated terrain and actually do a little bit of development on it themselves. Because, you know, development's cool. It's kind of what we want our game developers to do. Alright. Okay, right, let's go down to docking speed. There we go. And let's make our way over to this thing, whatever it is. I don't know what this thing is. Let's go to combat speed. That's more like it. Yeah, that's kind of a problem with this. There needs to be like an altitude meter or something. Like, I have no fucking clue how high above the ground I am. Not very. Not very was the answer. Okay, the ship has landed. The Eagle has landed. That's what I'm calling this ship. So we're going to go outside to see what that thing was. Ooh, frame rate's gone down to 30. Jesus. Here we go. And we're at 70 again. Lovely. My frame rates have been very bad recently. Oh, look, some more shit. Oh, that's cool. We got some shit over here. Missile ammo. Oh, alright, that's quite useful. Ring blaster ammo. Nice. Empty crate. Love it. What's that? That's missiles. That's the little... as you can see, I don't jump as high because I'm on a planet now, and there's a bit more gravity on here. That's a nice little touch. Ring blaster ammo. Love it. What's this? Data stick. What's this then? This is Martin. Now I am but a humble single man tending to my single Corso. Tell me to go to hell if you want, but we are almost out of probes. Per the established procedures, which I am apparently the only one who's still following, looking in your direction, Jenna, I am recording all outgoing probes and their trajectories here in the public log. I sent another batch of 4 out last night. See attached for vectors and tracking numbers. Now blah 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 and etc etc etc. I'm not particularly bothered in reading that out loud. If you wanted to read that, you can. I'm on a limited time here. I only have 43 minutes of game time left. I'm playing the demo. As far as I can tell, you can play the demo as many times as you want, but you're just limited to a certain period of time before you can actually... You can only play for a certain period of time, and then it locks you out, which I think is a nice way of doing it. You can't close that again, which is really bizarre. Close that up. There we go. Just you know, that's just my kind of... That's just the OCD part of me saying, blah, do this. Scanners. Signals, data, control gases. I don't know. I honestly don't know what I'm doing with all of this stuff. I'm just kind of exploring the galaxy. Need to find decryption keys. I see. I don't know. We could just go explore. I mean, really, it's just about exploring this game. Oh shit. I mean, there are more things that we could go look at. Well, with this, I mean, that's this planet kind of. We've seen what this planet has to offer. Let's we've seen what this planet has to offer. Let's go fly about. Let's leave the atmosphere and just kind of find our way to somewhere else. That's what I love about this game. It's just it is kind of a nice space little. It's a nice kind of proof of concept is what it feels like. And you know, and I think that's kind of what it is at the moment. It's a proof of concept. I don't think this is meant to be a fully fledged game yet, and it doesn't feel like it, but it does feel like something that is enjoyable to play for an hour or so. Yeah, it's pleasant. It's really pleasant. I haven't played the story mode. There is a story mode in it, but I don't know if it's even worth looking at for the time being. Because you know, I mean, I just want to fly around the galaxy and stuff. I don't want to. Okay, okay, so you don't have to deal with the atmosphere when you're going out, which is kind of that's good. Okay, so I mean, like, you can see just how fast we were going. I mean, that's how. I mean, that's how small that is now. You can see how fast you go with this bloody warp drive. Let's go to an asteroid. Let's land on a random asteroid. Let's go land on a random asteroid. And by a random asteroid, I mean this one. Oh, out of control, out of control. Alright, I mean, I love this. I just love this, right? And I love the fact that you can just kind of, you can just walk around a ship. It just feels very spacey, and that's what you want from a space game. You want it to feel spacey. You want a space game to feel like you're in space, right? I mean, that's got to be the thing with a space game, surely. Actually, that feels like a really silly idea. Okay, so apparently there are even more. Okay, so that seems to kind of, yeah. I mean, that's the nice thing this game does, is it doesn't sort of bog you down with fucking map markers everywhere. It kind of shows it kind of clumps them together when they're close by. So like with the enemies, it does that. Okay, so here's a random asteroid. I don't know how big this thing is. Not very by the looks of it. There's some bad guys around it. Okay, we're going too fast to actually use weapons. Okay, so it's further away than I thought it was. I thought that was like really close, but it's not. It is still a bit of a distance away. Oh, okay, so it's reasonably sizable. It's reasonably sizable. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's really big enough to land on. He says whilst really considering landing on it. I'm gonna land on this. I know there's bad guys around, but you know, you only live once, which is probably a reason why you shouldn't land on an asteroid when there are bad guys around. But you know, I mean that is such a great phrase. You only live once is such a great phrase, because it's a phrase that can have two completely different. It's a phrase that can kind of imply two completely different things. You can say it, and depending on what tone you say it in, it can mean two completely different things. Like, oh, I'm going to jump off this cliff, YOLO, or I'm not going to jump off this cliff because YOLO. That's phenomenal. I think that's great. It's a phrase that is kind of ridiculous, and is that part of the music or is that bad guys? I mean, it's a phrase that's fucking ridiculous, and I hate it when people use it. But it is such a great phrase in the sense that people use it, and you can argue against someone using that phrase by saying the exact same thing to them. It's like if someone says, "Oh YOLO," and you say, "Exactly, YOLO. That's why I'm not doing it, because YOLO." You can argue with you can counter that point with that point. It's fantastic. It's a self-countering point, and that's and kind of from a sort of a linguistical stance, that's really exciting and really kind of an interesting thing. And I'm a weird person, it would appear. Yeah, I thought that was kind of a small thing that I could blast out the sky. It's not. If that were to hit Earth, we wouldn't be having the best of times. Where were those like red dot things that were surrounding it? That's weird. Yeah, oh well. I might keep this unedited, actually, this video. The music seems to be getting louder. Like, it's kind of, there we go. I don't know what it is, I just want to beat these shitheads up. I don't know what these things are, but I want to fight them. I'm in the mood for a... These things have been... Oh, Jesus. Missiles implies they lock onto things. If they don't lock onto them, call them rockets, not fucking missiles. My ship appears to be in a bad state. Oh, I nearly flew into a planet. Or an asteroid. I wish there was just a button to kind of shift speed up and down. Okay, yeah, like the combat in this, like things are probably on fire at the moment. Oh, great. Oh, that's the music. I mean, that's kind of, for a game that's based around combat with lasers, that's not a great idea for a soundtrack. Alright, let's fire lasers back at them. Okay. Goodbye! Wait, so I can't do that yet. Okay. Goodbye! It's like, goodbye. And... fuck you! Yeah! Fuck you! So now I can check... the ship's health does regenerate, that's quite nice. Seems a bit silly, but you know. That's okay, so these are all the things that I've collected. Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure what all that stuff's about, but yeah, I mean, normally this ship will catch fire. Maybe it's only missiles that can make the ship catch fire. I didn't fight those things before. The things I fought before were much more vicious. Like, a lot more vicious. Okay, so I mean, we might as well go explore that planet, I suppose. That's kind of what we're here for. That's what we're here for. We're here to explore, and explore we shall. Okay, well let's have a quick look at our scanners. I do wish the scanner would tell you where you are. That's something that would be nice. Because you know, I kind of like where you are in relation to everything else. It's not particularly easy to actually work it out yourself. Considering you got fucking 6 degrees of freedom over this thing. Velcies. Oh Jesus, that thing's like a fucking fortress. Okay, let's try and reduce our movement. Okay, we're just gonna. Okay, yeah, we seem okay. This seems like a pretty safe place to actually go down and land. Yeah, the combat in this isn't very good, so I try and avoid it. I mean, there is a peaceful mode which you could do, but it's kind of part of. I mean, it's like the Far Cry permadeath. I really enjoyed doing that because I was avoiding fighting people. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this. I mean, the avoiding the combat is a fun thing to do. I'm landing on the fucking dark side again. I need to stop. I'm trying to avoid landing on the dark side because I've done that before and it makes it really difficult. Well, the problem is by the time I've landed, it's not the fucking dark side anymore. By the time I've landed, it's the light side is the dark side because things move in space. It's one of the problems that space has as a concept is that things move. And oh, does this place not have an atmosphere? Oh, yes. Yes is the answer. Or no, yes, it has an atmosphere. Like there needs to be some sort of altitude meter because it's very fucking difficult to work out where I am in relation to it's very hard to work out sort of how high above the ground I am. You can kind of tell by the levels of detail. It's kind of a reasonably decent indicator, I suppose, but just kind of slow ourselves down a little bit. Don't want to just crash straight into this bloody thing. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of tell by the levels of detail and how wide the level of detail is, kind of how vast, how kind of large the area around. You can tell if you look at the levels of detail, is what I'm saying. Like, you can see the levels of detail kind of increasing in a circle. Like, it's slightly lower detail around the outside, and it's closer in the middle because you're obviously close to the middle. And then, depending on how large the circle of high level of detail is how close you are to the surface. That's kind of how I did things in. That's kind of how I gauged it in Kerbal Space Program, except I use kind of texture quality as more of an indicator than levels of detail. I'm sorry, I'm talking really boring now. I'm being really boring. I apologise. Oh, this is gorgeous. Look at this. Okay, right. There was like a kind of a cross thing that I wanted to go look at. I can't see it from here now. Look at this. I mean, like, this is cool. I like this. Okay, let's try and chase the sun, and look at this sort of with a bit of lighting. This is cool. I like this kind of flying through massive cliffs and things. Flying through mountain ranges on a faraway planet. What's not to love about this? I mean, this is what video games is all about, really. It's doing things that you could just doing things that if you were to do in real life, you would write books about it if you were to do it in real life. But because you did it in a video game, you don't have to go to the effort of writing books about it. That's what's so great about video games, is that you don't have to write books. That's why I love video games, because you don't have to write books. There we go. That's there's an interesting look into my psyche. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I rarely do. I just say things, and yeah, most people do. I think that's true of most people on the internet, especially most people that make YouTube videos. Actually, they say things, no fucking clue what they're talking about, but people listen. Oh, this is gorgeous. I think this is going to be the screenshot. Can I turn the HUD off? That's what I want. Camera FOV. Yeah, the FOV. I put that on 100, which is like my normal FOV. That doesn't. No, it looks weird at a higher FOV. Okay, can't turn the HUD off. I was going to see if I can turn the HUD off for a screenshot because that's really gorgeous, but I can't. As far as I'm aware. Oh, did it nearly. Oh, look at that, and it's kind of like it's all dark. Ah, it's space, man, space. Oh, you gotta love space. You gotta love space. I love space. I mean, I have no idea why space exploration games haven't been kind of popular recently. Like, there were loads of them back in the kind of the early 2000s, late 90s, and even like early 90s, I suppose. Basically, back in the era when graphics were too shit for you to sort of look beyond. Like, I'm not awful when it comes to graphics. Like, I can play games that have bad graphics, but when it comes to games that are like 90s, you're like, I kind of want to play that, but graphics fucking awful. I'm going to avoid that. Let's go down here. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. It's so cool. It's so fucking cool. Oh, nearly hit a fucking cliff. I mean, hitting a mountain in a space plane is bad. Hitting a mountain in a space plane on a planet that isn't home is really bad. That's really bad. Okay, I'm trying to just kind of catch up to the sun a little bit. This is so gorgeous. This is so gorgeous. This is what games are about, right? This. I mean, look, the sun's even kind of like, the sun even looks slightly different because you're seeing it through the atmosphere. It's just, so great. This has a lot of potential in the future, and the music's reaching a crescendo because it knows how awesome things are. I kind of feel like I shouldn't play any more of this. I kind of feel that this is enough. I kind of feel that what I've shown you is enough to make you either think this is something that I want to try myself and follow the development of, or it's enough to make you to sort of show you that this is something I'm really not interested in. It's early access at the moment. Don't buy it. I mean, there's a free demo. Play the demo, but don't buy it. I mean, it's like this in its current state is not worth the price that they're charging, and that is how you should look at early access. Don't buy early access games by all means, but don't buy early access games because of the concepts that they have talked about. Buy early access games because of the game as it currently stands, because that is what you're paying for. That is what you're paying for, and that is kind of what you should be looking at as a customer, because the game might never be finished. The developer might fuck off. It's happened with loads of bloody games now. So if you're happy with the game in its current state, then by all means buy an early access game. But if you're not, if you're looking at it as a kind of a sort of an investment in, as in like this could be great in the future, then don't do it. I mean, like it's just lunacy to do that. And I would say in its current state, there's not enough content here for me to really be excited by this. There just isn't enough content here for me to be really excited by this. There's enough content here for me to be excited by the concept, but not enough for me to be excited by the game and for me to say, yes, this is worth the £10 or £11 that they're charging for it. Because it's not worth that. It's not worth £10 or £11. I don't know how much they're charging for it. I think it's 11 quid. It's not worth that. It just isn't. But in the future, it probably will be. Let's just say that. In the future, this will probably be worth £10 or £11. So keep an eye on this. Shove it in your wish list. Keep track of it. I'm really looking forward to it, and I really look forward to seeing where this is going to go. And I'm trying to get a nice screenshot. I'm trying to get a nice thumbnail. Now that's the next thing. I feel like a really short person walking over this terrain. Let's get. Oh, look at that! I think that is our thumbnail. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and all of that jazz. Yeah, definitely take a look at this game. The demo's free, as it should be. It's not an EA game, so that you don't have to pay for the demo. So yeah, I mean, give this a go. Give it a go. It's great. Anyway, toodaloo.
We'll be right back.